Assalamu alaikum friends, how are you? A very interesting, very interesting story has been shared with us by a senior journalist, and this story is about a very tense situation in the Pak Army at the time of appointing the new COAS and at the time of appointing the new chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee, and there was a kind of alliance of at least 5 to 6 lieutenant generals, and they were of the view that you cannot send a list to the prime minister, which will include Lieutenant General Asim Munir. They were against him on the behest of probably a politician, a political leader, a political party, and that was a very tense situation. And these lieutenant generals, an alliance of these lieutenant generals has threatened the threatened to overthrow the government of that time, and to do a coup. And it was really a really very tense situation. And Kamar Javed Bajwa, the General Kamar Javed Bajwa, the COS at that time, he has intimated the prime minister at that time, who was probably in the Egypt, that this sort of situation is being created here in the army, and now you think and do and tell that what is going to be the way out. And he was maybe advising, maybe discreetly, he was advising the prime minister not to consider the name of Lieutenant General Asim Munir as a COASR, as the other 4-star general, like chairman, joint chiefs of staff committee. And that situation was created. It was the prime minister was intimated by this sort of situation, and by Kanwar Javed Bajwa, the COS at that time. And as far as Prime Minister is concerned, maybe he had succumbed to the pressure, but he then rushed to London to meet his elder brother, the Qaid of PMLN. And he had a lengthy meeting there with the Mia Nawaz Sharif, and telling him that maybe a kind of coup is going to take place in the mean, and we are going to be overthrown if at all we insist upon any general of our choice to be made as the COES. And he intimated his elder brother Mia Nawaz Sharif about this sort of situation. And Mia Nawaz Sharif is different as compared to Mia Shahbaz Sharif. His temperament is different. He is a man of gut. He said that okay, if at all they are going to overthrow us, let them do this, we shouldn't be succumbing to their pressure at all. And then what did happen is that Mr. Kamar Javed Bajwa, he has sent he he made a new list of these 5 lieutenant generals, which was included by Lieutenant General Asim Munir too. And earlier in the list he was not included, and now when the list was sent, and then the ruling alliance, led by the PMLN, and the government headed by the Mia Shahbaz Sharif, they made a choice, and a choice of their own, and they made him Lieutenant General Asim Munir as the new COAS, and then Lieutenant General Sahir Shamshad Mirza as the new Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee. And that is the kind of situation which was very alarming here in our country. But fortunately, the government exercised their discretion to choose the Lieutenant General of their choice. And this is what happened. That was really a very, very disturbing situation, if at all. Though the alliance of those five lieutenant generals has succeeded, and that would have been a really, really great trouble for not just for the government, rather for the whole of the country. But fortunately, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that situation was overcome. And now the constitutional move, as for the constitutional privilege of the Prime Minister of Pakistan is concerned, it did take place, and the government has chosen the right, the person they deemed as the most senior, as the most competent as well. And in this way, a kind of coup was avoided, and a kind of division in the Pak army was avoided at the same time. That situation has occurred. Unfortunately, a political figure, maybe they were trying to create a kind of rift in the Pak army, but they didn't succeed at all. And the right sort of course did take place. And now, Alhamdulillah, the situation inside the Pak army is quite in control, and a kind of discipline is there. I think this sort of situation should not be created at all. And as for the institution, as for this military establishment of Pakistan is concerned, I think that they should be absolutely apolitical, and they shouldn't be participating in, and they shouldn't be supporting or opposing any of the political party, any of the politician at all, because that is something which is very much against the constitution of Pakistan. If at all, as far the constitution of Pakistan is concerned, that is a kind of uniting force, and as long as we do remain, as long as the constitution is upheld, as long as every important decision, every important move by the government and the rest of the institutions, by the military establishment, if at all the constitution of Pakistan does remain the same, I believe that Pakistan will remain intact, and there will not be any sort of mutiny or any sort of coup in the country. And let me tell you, and some of the people know it, but most of the people in Pakistan, even in the rest of the world, they don't know that a kind of situation like this one was created, and that could have been disastrous for the country. But fortunately, that situation was controlled sagaciously and courageously.